All right, we're very excited about this. One of the great guys in South Florida, one of the great guys in all of sports. He really is. And listen, I know we're doing this via Zoom, but he smells delightful. He really does. Billy, does he not? I mean, Mikey A, anyone? I mean, come on,
It's
smell him.
incredible. It's incredible.
It's pretty wonderful.
It is Hall of Famer Jason Taylor with us on behalf of Smirnoff. JT, why are you shaking your head already? What's happening?
I don't even know. I don't even know how to start now. This always comes. I forgot about this. It was always been this thing about my smell, and I guess I'd rather smell good than smell like a zoo animal. So it's fine.
Exactly. Well, what happened there was you remembered why it is you stopped coming on our show.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Jason, tell everyone what you're doing with Smirnoff, man.
Well, listen. Smirnoff is in town. Smirnoff is the official vodka sponsor of the NFL, and they are in town this week. Number one, to celebrate the only undefeated team in the history of the NFL, the 1972 undefeated Dolphins. And part of that is they're looking for, wait for this now, a cocktail coordinator. So we've all heard of offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. Heck, we even have special teams coordinators now. Well, Smirnoff is looking for the official cocktail coordinator of Smirnoff. So what they're doing is they're bouncing around all these different cities, and throughout the course of the year, people have a chance to submit their videos, a 30 to 60-second video. And we're looking for the most crowd-pleasing championship cocktail recipe. We want to see people having fun, creating these awesome recipes and cocktails that bring people around for football, fun, and family, and having a great time with it. So here's the best part of this, though. They can go to bestjobinamerica.smirnoff.com, put your submission in there. The winner gets, wait for this now,
okay,
they get a trip to the Super Bowl with 3 of their friends. Not only that, but they're flying private.
Wow.
Now, when is the last time? Well, I shouldn't ask you the last time you flew private, because you probably flew this morning private.
He's rich, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's people like myself. I'm talking about coach, back of the plane, middle seat. None of that. With Smirnoff, they were flying private with a private jet. 3 of your friends going to the Super Bowl in Arizona. So again, bestjobinamerica.com. That is the cocktail coordinator. Put your submission in there. And then this weekend, we are celebrating the 72 Dolphins and the undefeated team with the undefeated Smirnoff cocktail.
Billy, I know he has piqued your curiosity. I know you have a question, but just hold on a second. The last time Jason Taylor sat middle seat coach is fucking when? I mean, get out of here, JT.
I'll be honest with you. Probably after a loss against the Jets up in New York, Monday Night Football, coming home, they made us all sit in the middle. All the rows and windows were free. Everyone had to sit in the middle seat.
Well, yes, you earned that, though. You deserve that. They were right to do that. By the way, we were discussing before, I think you're a top 5 Jet of all time. I mean,
easily.
Ouch.
I mean, you, Revis, I mean, you're right up there. No, ouch to our organization. It had nothing to do with you.
Exactly. I'm not taking any shots. I used to take a lot of shots at the Jets. I went there for 1 year, had a great time. Yeah. Great fans. We actually were pretty darn good football team too, but came up a little short. Sorry.
All right, Billy, have you applied yet for this job? Because I know he has piqued your curiosity.
I haven't, but I was thinking we should make a pact so the winner plus 3 of their friends gets to go. So if all 4 of us apply, then we can promise each other that I'll take Jason, I'll take you 2 guys, and I'll take Mikey A, and then we all make the same promise and we can go to the Super Bowl together. What do you think, JT?
Sounds good to me. As long as we're drinking Smirnoff on the plane.
There you
we
go.
will. But I have a feeling JT can go regardless, Billy. He doesn't need us. It doesn't need this promotion. We have to win through the promotion.
But I can't go private.
Yeah.
Inflation's tough, buddy.
You're right. Billy, are you taking care of this? Are you going to apply for this or what? What are you doing?
It's in the bag. I think we're going to do it, Jason. I don't know if you could talk to some people. Maybe they pull our names, but
pull a couple of strings.
Exactly.
You know? All you got to do is make a kick-ass cocktail, man. I'm telling you, best job in America. Who has the best job in America? I used to think Stugotz had the best job in America. maybe it's Billy or Mike, but I'm telling you, the cocktail coordinator, you cannot beat that deal.
Well, you may have one of the best jobs in America because now you're a defensive analyst for which I don't even know what that means, but you were a coach at St. Thomas Aquinas for a while. I have a question for you about your son, because your son plays at LSU, and the first game of the season, he had a incredible catch that put them right in position to tie the game against LSU. And I would imagine that for you, or against FSU, I would imagine for you, it's more stressful watching him play than yourself, but you had to have been freaking out wondering, is time going to run out before he gets out of bounds, right?
Absolutely. It is way more nerve-wracking watching him. And I also have a son, a redshirt freshman at University of Arizona playing safety. So getting a chance to watch both of them, and obviously the Pac-12 games going so late. So I get a full day of Saturday football. It's It's very nerve wracking, and that game against Florida State was amazing. His first game as a collegiate athlete, and having a chance to play 95% of the snaps in that game and making that catch. And he still tries to tell me, if you remember the play, they were on about the 17-yard line, and he caught a pass on a delayed crossing route and took it down to the 2-yard line and dove out of bounds, which ended up not being out of bounds because the refs messed it up. There was an extra play. But he tries to tell me that there was I forget how much time. There was 12 seconds. He tries to say that he knew he had to block first. So he slam release and block, and coming across the field, he knew how much time was on the clock. So he catches the ball. He said he starts running. He looks downfield, sees the safeties in the corners, and there's a receiver blocking a corner. Well, the receiver missed the block. He peeks up at the ribbon, sees that time's running out, looks at the sideline and sees how far he has to go, knowing he's not going to make it to the end zone. He darts to the sideline, dives out of bounds. He's an 18-year-old kid. There's guys that make $25 million a year that don't process all that in 11 seconds or 12 seconds. He's full of crap, but it was an amazing play. And it's such a joy to watch them, get a chance to watch them play. And he's obviously having a great year so far.
It sounds like the Stugotz is strong in him, JT. It does.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Wait, can you put us there? Like, what is Jason Taylor like when he's watching his sons play football? Like, can you even watch it? It's hard.
I like to sit by myself.
Right.
So I have a chance to, because I go through all these gyrations and animations and yelling and screaming and jumping up and down. And the really cool part about that, going back to that LSU Florida State game at the opener down in New Orleans, was, we sat in the corner of the end zone, whatever, the 12th row or whatnot. And it happened to be the exact corner where he caught the ball and ran into and dove. And it was right in front of us. So it was just an amazing deal. But it's the nerves, man. It's just watching the SEC play and then watching my son play in the Pac-12, and those games don't get over till 1 or 2 in the morning. You just can't go to bed. It's difficult to go to bed, and then you got to be down at Coral Gables for meetings the next morning. So it's a tough schedule, but I would never change anything about it.
What made you want to get into coaching?
I love it. I mean, I did 5 years at St. Thomas when my boys were there. Love the chance to really pay forward the knowledge and the information I've been given by so many great teammates, from Trace Armstrong and Tim Bowens, and having a chance to play with all those guys and the things I've learned over the years. I love the game of football. It's been good to me. It's been great to my family, and I love being around it. The competitiveness and the competitive juices never die, even when you're retired. So it's a way for me to stay competitive, stay relevant if the kids listen, and be around the game and kind of affect change, and help these kids have an opportunity to live out their dream of playing college football, because it may end. It's going to end at some point, but it may end after your last collegiate game.
Jason, you're one of the great pass rushers of all time. So I am wondering, like, your view on all these late hits, roughing the passer. Jason Taylor, I know you well enough to know you would not stand for any of this. In fact, I think you retire rather than play under these new rules. But what are your feelings as you've been watching this kind of unfold here?
Over the years, it's gotten more and more difficult to rush the passer. Not only rush the passer, but then get the quarterback on the ground. And, you look at the business side of it from the NFL's perspective, and you understand the protections they have for some of the offensive guys. Obviously, it's a quarterback-driven league, the most difficult position to play, and obviously the most difficult position to draft to and acquire that franchise guy. So I get some of it. The way Dan Marino was hit back in the 80s and 90s that was just brutal. That was criminal, somewhat. But that's coming from pass rusher. But now, we saw what happened a couple of weeks ago with Tua, and the hit he had on it going down, and then the snap reaction, really the overreaction in the following weeks was very frustrating. Seeing I forget the guy. I think Grady was one of the guys. I forget the guys that got the 2 penalties that just should not have been penalties. Yeah. I mean, last week we saw Kansas City sack the quarterback. I think it was Kansas City as he's falling down. The ball comes out. He has the ball in his
Chris
hands.
Jones,
Chris Jones lands on top of the quarterback and gets a penalty for it.
Yeah,
it's absurd. It's ridiculous, and I think the league needs to step in. I know they all came out and made statements that it should have been flagged. They wouldn't reverse any call. That was kind of CYA, but it was a little overreaction to what's been going on with guys getting hit.
So what'd you make? You mentioned Tua and the Dolphins. What'd you make of how the Dolphins handled that Tua situation?
Um, you know, whoever the spotter is, or however it's set up with the spotter and the neurological guy on the sideline, the independent guy. I mean, it's just really difficult for me, and I think it was I think for most of football America to look at the previous, the game where Tua went down the first time and got up and stumbled and wobbled. I mean, I've had a bad back before. I think it was kind of a slap in the face to say it was a back injury. Mm-hmm. We all knew what it really was. If you have a bad back, you're going to grab your back.
Right.
When you get up and you grab your head, probably ain't your back.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I'm not a neurologist or not very smart. I just know the man's wobbling sideways. He's got a bad something up top.
You're pretty smart, JT. You're very smart, actually. Listen, so I am wondering here, if I told you retired, what, 2011, 2012, or something like that?
11 was my last season, yeah.
All right, so if I told you in 2011 that in 2023, Tom Brady would still be playing quarterback and doing so at an MVP level, you would have told me what?
Because it was Tommy, I would probably say I hate you, and you're probably right. But it doesn't really surprise me. He's the greatest to ever do it. Been saying it for a long time. There's a lot of really, really good ones, and I know the era of football has changed. The way the game is played has changed. The offensive systems have changed, and it's a lot more wide open. So it doesn't. I'm not to take anything away from the guys that played before and put up ridiculous numbers, but Tom Brady and the way he's done it, with who he's done it with year after year after year, and really defeating Father Time for most of that time. And it's remarkable to watch him do what he's doing. And they lose a couple games to start the season in September, and everyone's up in arms that, oh my goodness, Tom Brady's done, and Tampa Bay needs to mail it in. Just relax. I've seen this movie before. It's like watching The Godfather time and time and time again and thinking you have a different ending. It ends the same way. It just ends the same way, and it's frustrating.
Jason,
I can't run from here to the mailbox, and Tom Brady is still playing at his age at a high level.
Crazy. I mean, he's 3 years younger than I am. It's absurd. It really is. Jason, one more time on the way out here, and we appreciate the time, and you've been great to me and Dan in our show for many, many years, and we love you. But one more time, tell us what you're doing again with Smirnoff on the way out here.
Yeah, Smirnoff, the official vodka partner of the NFL, is in town to celebrate the 1972 undefeated Miami Dolphins, obviously the only one that's ever done it in NFL history. We're having a little party on Sunday, obviously culminated by the Sunday night football game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we are looking for the cocktail coordinator. What that is someone that makes their most crowd-pleasing championship cocktail. You can go on bestjobinamerica.smirnoff.com, 30 to 60-second video telling us why you should be the cocktail coordinator, putting up the recipe of your cocktail. And then the winner whoever Smirnoff picks to be the cocktail coordinator is going to get a trip to the Super Bowl with you and 3 of your friends on board a private jet. Might even be Stugotz's private jet. Yeah. Either way, we're going to get you there on a private jet. Again, bestjobinamerica.smirnoff.com. Looking for that cocktail coordinator. And I must say, always drink responsibly. Be smart about doing it. But let's have some fun in Miami this weekend. Beating up on the Pittsburgh Steelers and keeping our fingers crossed that the Philadelphia Eagles lose to whoever they're playing.
Attaboy. Bestjobinamerica.smirnoff.com is where you go for a chance to win the title. Quickly on the way out, make it impassioned. It bothers me that Zach Thomas is not in the Hall of Fame. As a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, can you make an impassioned argument as to why Zach should be in the Hall of Fame, please?
I mean, what more needs to be said? It's just, don't they do a thing on ESPN? It's like, come on, man. Right?
Yes.
Come on, man.
It's a no-brainer, right?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
All right. Speaking of no-brainers, bestjobinamerica.smirnoff.com for a chance to win tickets to the Super Bowl, not on my private jet, but on someone's private jet. JT, man, we appreciate you, and good luck with everything moving forward here, especially with your kids playing football in college, man. That's really cool.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate you guys having me, and have a great one.